Hi, welcome to Higher Rock Education. This is the video for entrepreneurs. Many people don't think that people that start a charitable organization should be considered entrepreneurs. I disagree, and today we are very fortunate to have somebody who started a nonprofit and has built a tremendous company. He has a true passion, which is required for entrepreneurs. He came up with a business plan. He basically gets into marketing. He has a structure that's coordinated, and we are truly blessed to have the Reverend Ernie Mills today. I'd like to introduce the Reverend Ernie Mills. Thank you very much for being with us today and sharing your story. It is so meaningful. But let me start with asking you, Reverend Mills, do you feel as if you're an entrepreneur?
Well, I've really never thought of myself in that aspect, but as I looked up the definition, I guess I am, you know. We put things at risk and risked everything that we had to start the mission. So my main is not to make the money, though, but to help the people at the rescue mission.
That's your passion.
That's my passion. That's what I live for. I did not start the rescue mission to make money, but to help people.
Why did you start the Durham Rescue Mission?
Well, Bill, as I go back, I look at my childhood days, and really, my dad was a sharecropper, a bootlegger, a moonshiner. He died at the age of 40 because of cirrhosis of the liver, and I really remember nobody helping my dad, and I became a Christian 2 years later, and the Lord just laid on my heart to have a ministry to help those that were addicted. And so literally for the past 45 years, that's all I've done, is to work and to develop a program that we could help as many addicted people, and we use a homeless shelter to do that. And so that's why we started the Durham Rescue Mission, that we might help people like my dad become self-sufficient.
Did you put together a business plan of any kind?
Well, early on we did. We came, I was working at the Winston-Salem Rescue Mission. I'd worked there for 5.5 years, the years of 68 to 73. And then we didn't move to Durham, but we started investigating Durham. We'd come down, we'd talk to the preachers, we'd try to find out what is the need. We'd go out on the streets and talk to people on the street and find out what was their need. And then through that, we saw there was a great need. And so in 73, we moved to Durham, and then in 74, we opened the doors.
Now, you use the word need. As an economist, would that be the same as a demand for your services?
I guess you're right. You know, I don't think of that, but there is a supply and demand, you know, and you got to have that. There's got to be a demand to create a product, and yet we saw the demand for the work, and so we started it.
And it's amazing how large you've built this. Tell us about how small it was in the beginning and how large a community you serve today.
We started out with a house that had 7 rooms in it, and we could take care of 12 men. And in February, we were sleeping 490 men, women.
490? 490
men, women, and children on that day. We've dropped back down from the winter, and right now we'll probably run about 450 every night. That's 3 meals a day, a place to sleep at night, vocational training during the daytime, and then a job for each one of those 490 people.
Tell me about the job in terms of in the Victory program and what all of those and how they fit into your overall marketing strategy.
Especially when the economy started turning down, we were trying to get jobs for our residents. Now, Bill, the men that we work, men and women we work with, they come to us with felony records because of drug abuse or selling drugs or addiction habits. And now the economy's turning down. We're trying to get them jobs. They've turned their lives around, but very few people would hire them. And so what we did, the thought just came to me, why don't we start a temporary employment agency? And so we did. And so what we do, the rescue mission, we go out, we'll talk to employers, find out what jobs do they need to be done. We'll go back, talk to our residents, and match the skills to what that employer wants. We tell the employer, you can count on 2 things. You know that he slept last night, he's got his sleep, he's drug-free because we test them at the rescue mission. And if you have any problems, you can count on us to help counsel with them, work with them, because we don't want you to fire them unless you have to. If we can work out the problem, let's work it out. And last year, we wrote 238 W-2s that we wrote to formerly homeless people. The payroll was $1.4 million that we paid former homeless people, and now that money is going back into Northeast Central Durham to support the economy of Northeast Central Durham.
Wow. Wow. So you basically run a business here?
Yes. Several businesses. One's the Durham Rescue Mission, and then the Temps to the Rescue is a separate organization that we organize to help them get jobs.
As I drive around town, I see all of your thrift stores. How many do you have, and what was the reason for starting them?
We have 3 thrift stores, and especially we've just recently started them. As the economy started turning down, people were being laid off their regular jobs. We could not find jobs for our homeless people. And so at that time, the thought just came to me. We had a lot of clothing donated to the rescue mission and furniture, and we were giving clothing away, but much more than we could give away. And so we said, why don't we sell that and generate some income? And so we started a thrift store. That did fine. We started the second, then started the third. But what I like about it, not only was it paying the bills, but yet it was also creating 70 jobs for the homeless. And so it was a win-win, seemed like for everybody. And then to diversify the income, we also had a Temps to the Rescue that we started, where we actually go out and get jobs for those that are homeless. We match them with their skills with the employer, and that works really good. But then one advantage of this, though, is that it's a diversification of the income. We primarily live off of donations that are made to the mission. But when the economy turns down, our donations drop off. But as the economy turns down, our thrift store income picks up, because people don't have the money to go out and shop, and buy new stuff, so they come to our thrift store. So it was a way of really diversifying the income to pay the bills, and to create 70 jobs.
Wow. So in other words, you use a thrift store to try to generate income when the donations are down, and you rely almost exclusively on those 2 areas to fund your operations?
Yes, that's the major 2 areas that we focus on.
Okay. So do you take any public money?
We don't take government money, and one reason we don't take government money is that so often people feel like they are obligated, it's owed to them, but we want them to realize that we're helping them because we love them. And we've seen that the homeless person, when a volunteer comes over and gives of their time to help, they really begin to see love in shoe leather, and seem like things began to come together. And people, until they realize that there are other people that really care for them, they really don't develop hope. But when they see other people care for them, then they try even harder to improve their lives also.
Ernie, you touched a little earlier on the Victory program. And, we do an educational, online educational course at Higher Rock Education. And I think the Victory program is all about educating people. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, our Victory program is set up for a 1-year program, divided into half, 6 months that they're primarily in classroom, they're working in the classroom. That's the first 6 months. I want you to realize that most of the people we work with are addicted. You can give a person all the education they want, but if they don't have control of their own appetites, if they are still addicted, if they get a job, a lot of times that's just going to help them buy more drugs. And so that first 6 months is really to give them job skills, but yet to really help them to overcome their own addictions. Now the second 6 months is that they can actually still stay at the rescue mission, go out and get a job, save up their security deposits, and then move out on their own after that.
And what does it cost to attend the Victory program?
Zero.
Zero. So it's all funded by donations in the thrift store and all of your businesses.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
A large part of entrepreneurship or building a business has to do with marketing and being consistent in your market plan with what you want to do. How do you market?
We're constantly out there in the public. We're constantly going to meetings, community meetings, the city council meeting, county commissioner meeting, talking to business people one-on-one. So we're constantly out there. We try to have a constant logo. The logo is always the same so that we're consistent. We have a newsletter that we send out. We do a lot of PSAs. We try to get PSAs out or commercials.
PSA, public service announcements.
Yes, we do a lot of public service announcements where they are free. They run free for us. And then we have some paid commercials because, like they say, out of sight, out of mind. As people think about you, they know what you're doing, they're more apt to make a donation. They're more apt to donate clothing. We need clothing. And so we're constantly trying to be in the public mind as much as possible.
And I think you are, because how many people did you say made donations last year?
Last year we had 17,000 people to make donations to the Durham Rescue Mission. Now that sounds like a big number, but it costs us $2.05 to feed a meal, and that's one of our promotions that we do. So of that 17,000, there's a lot of $2.05. It takes a lot of donations of $2.05 to add up to the budget there.
I know, you must have an enormous budget because of all of the operations that you run. And so that 17,000 people, they've been good to you, haven't they?
Right. Our budget is really about $6 million a year that we have to raise, and that sounds like a lot, but when you're talking about feeding 490 people, 3 meals a day, the Victory program, the counseling, and all that goes on, it don't go far.
It doesn't go far. I know. Reverend Mills, I will tell you, I was incredibly impressed with how courteous your staff was when we arrived today. I mean, people were holding doors for us, people were calling us sir. Your staff is really wonderful. Tell us a little bit about the size of your staff and how you train them, because after all, most of your staff are people that have been on the streets, and you've trained them to be such incredibly good quality people.
Yes, our staff consists primarily of 70 that works at thrift stores, another 40 that kind of administrates and kind of manages and pulls everything together there. And so what we do when a person comes into the rescue mission, we try to look at that person individually, find out what skills does he have. Is it a skill that is a laboring skill? Can we develop that and hone that? What we're looking for right now so much, and is in such great need, is management skills. We run about 490 at the rescue mission, and we have a job for everybody. So everybody has a job and a responsibility. So then we train people to oversee maybe the yard crew, the kitchen crew, the painting crew, the construction crew, the thrift store crew, and so we're training managements in that. And Bill, I've really seen that a person might have a skill, a laboring skill, but they're not going to make a large salary until they kind of move up into management. And they begin to oversee those other laborers that doing that labor skill. So we're in contact with even Durham Tech right now, and hopefully we can help Durham Tech raise some money that we can start teaching some management classes for our residents at the rescue mission.
Reverend Mills, if you were to pick one thing that's the most important thing for entrepreneurs, what would it be?
You've got to have a passion. You've got to believe in your product that you're selling. My product is a person, an individual, that person can change, and he can develop and be a productive member of society. I believe that. I've seen it happen hundreds of times, and that's the passion and the drive that keeps me going. And I always say, you know, if that one individual, if that could have been my dad, somebody helping my dad, it would all been worthwhile. Yeah. And that's my passion.
Yeah. You live it. You live it every single day. Well, thank you very much. And if somebody has a loved one who needs your help, or wants to just learn more about the Durham Rescue Mission and maybe make a contribution, a donation, it's so clear that you do so many good things. How would they learn more about the Durham Rescue Mission?
Just go online to durhamrescuemission.org, and there we have informational pages, we have a donation page, and especially if you have a loved one that needs help, like my dad was needing help, go online, read the information, and then give us a call or pop us an email. We are here to be a help if you have someone that is ready for help and need to turn their lives around.
And I think you can understand now why I feel so strongly that somebody who runs a nonprofit organization is truly an entrepreneur. I mean, Reverend Mills here, he started off very small. He has grown his business. He's had to raise the money. He looked at the demand for his services. He analyzed that. He manages a number of people. He has a marketing program. All of those skills that are required of an entrepreneur. Thank you for watching this video for Higher Rock Education. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about entrepreneurial skills or any other economic concept, please visit our website.